Debe haber sido tu presencia aquí tremenda, porque aquí tú eres como muy mitológico.
I haven't been limited in the way that I purposely limit myself usually to do only studio work in a studio. But in Cuba, you know, I've made Cuba my studio. The funny thing about photographing in Cuba is, particularly when I'm photographing in the streets, is that people appear. They just pop into my frame. There's never been a lack of models in Cuba. I've always been able to photograph all kinds of people. Now we have to focus on the VIPs, the dignitary celebrities, the intellectuals, the people who are in charge or in power, the well-known. I kept saying I want to photograph Fidel Castro, I want to photograph Castro, I want to But in the end, even if I don't get Castro, I know I'll get Cuba.
This guy saved the system in the early 90s. Why? Because he was the head of the Communist Youth when the Soviet Union collapsed. And this guy was the person who creates a bridge in Cuba between young generations and the historical generation. He was the guy who moved the youth.
She's very excited when she met him.
Yes.
She's like, now we're famous.
Atendía mucho a la juventud y la juventud lo seguía. La juventud tenía emociones. No debo decir que ahora también la juventud tiene emociones, pero él era dirigente y la juventud lo seguía, lo seguía.
Personas que usted crea que son famosas y
que son famosas en Cuba y que la gente lo sigue.
Esta es mi primera vez en Cuba.
¿Primera vez?
Mi primera vez. Buenas, Juan Carlos. Andrés, ¿cómo estás?
Sí, te conozco. Buenas, mucho gusto. Muchísimo.
Very nice to meet you.
Hola.
Hola.
I have a very, very famous Cuban movie, which in reality is not a Cuban movie, it's a French movie, but every Cuban knows. The name is Viva Cuba. In reality, it's a French film because it was supported by the French,
Right.
but it's a Cuban movie because it's happening in Cuba. And it's Cuban subject. Everything is Cuban.
Okay.
Hacemos un brindis porque es miércoles.
Oh, señor, ¿cómo está?
Pablo Armando Fernández.
Qué bueno
un
está.
personaje también de la literatura de este país, Premio Nacional de Literatura.
I was born in Cuba in an American sugar mill company, and I went to New York when I was 15 years old to school. I've been writing all my life.
Y Jaime Saruk es el único gran judío que ha tenido la literatura cubana. Tiene Rebelión, no sé cuántos libros publicados, es una cosa tremenda. 13 libros.
Ella dice que tú eres un nieto de Che, ¿verdad? ¿Por parte de tu madre o tu padre? Este es el nieto de Che. I'm going to meet with Alex Castro, Fidel's son.
Este es el libro que está en impresión ahora. Esto es una prueba. Esto es una...
Yeah, look at this one, this book.
1991.
I'm just going to ask Alex if I could take his picture and then I'm going to ask him to ask his father if I could take his father's picture. We really relaxed with each other, and we realized that we had at least one thing in common, and that it is that he's also a photographer. So I think he'll understand why I want to take his picture. I called him the day after Father's Day. He gave the note to Fidel, and Fidel just looked at it and didn't say anything, you know. I also photographed Mariela Castro, Raul's daughter, and she was also really nice, super nice.
Ahora fui a un congreso en San Francisco y un congreso de estudios latinoamericanos.
Ajá.
Y entonces hubo como 11 académicos cubanos a los que no les dieron la visa.
Wow.
Entonces a los senadores cubano-americanos, estos mafiosos, les molestó que el gobierno americano me diera la visa.
Wow.
Porque ellos dicen que soy hija de un dictador, según ellos.
Wow. I spent a little time with her, and I went around. It was during the Biennale, and so the Havana Biennale, and so we went to see some of the artists' works. And I found Mariela to be really nice and gracious with everyone. And Mariela looked at every picture, even though there was some hardcore sexual images in the book. She looked at every picture, and she still agreed to pose for me. Este es un señor blanco, judío, pero lo hice negro con makeup. And so I told her too, I want to photograph your father, Raul Castro, the president of Cuba. And so I called her up the same day that I called Alex, the day after, you know, Father's Day. And I said, you know, yesterday is Father's Day. Did you see your father? And she said, you know, I saw him, but he's been so busy. He didn't spend much time with the family because he's been so busy. And he said that he's so busy, he doesn't even have time to take the official portrait as president. You know, it's almost like blind faith. You know, you believe, you have to believe. You have to believe that you're there for a reason, and the reason is to uncover something. And to be able to uncover that, you have to be on call at any time.
Andrés dialoga a través de no dialogar. Y puede ser que ahí consiga desvestir mucho más al fotografiado que escuchando su relación con su mamá.
You know, he's doing this to kind of show the world his view of Cuba, not just the people, but also the environment and the people living in the environment.
Aquí quizás podían tener una idea de quién podía ser Fidel, Raúl, o las personas ya del más alto nivel del gobierno del país, pero no tenía claro el resto de las personas que ocupan otros estamentos dentro de la sociedad o el tema, o tener una comprensión exacta del mundo intelectual y cultural de Cuba.
I believe he definitely expanded artistically. Since he took pictures he would never think of taking before. He would only do this kind of tableau pictures in the studio. That's his signature style. And then he did something totally opposite. He went outside with the camera and he was taking pictures that no one expects of him. So definitely for him it's a new perspective, new experience.
But the most important thing I think that is happening is that really I'm discovering what I want to do as an artist. Havana sort of prepared me technically, aesthetically for what I'm doing now. And the more I get into the Cuba work, the more I get into Cuba itself, the more I find myself as an artist. I discover new things about myself. I discover new ways of looking at things. I discover new ways of expressing myself. It's funny because, you know, Cuba belongs to Cubans. They're here. I'm a stranger. I'm an outsider. I'm a foreigner. And yet I've discovered things, I've explored things that they themselves had never thought of doing.
Yo quiero ser un solo ser, estar contigo. quiero ver en el querer para soñarte y en la dulce tentación de un beso mordedor quisiera, amorcito corazón, decirte mi pasión por ti, compañera, en el bien y el mal.